What's up, friends? It's been literally forever since I've been on and made a video and just talked about life. I'm so green. Yeah, the new booth obviously has different colors. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm not like talking directly into the mic. My booth was not set up for vlogging, obviously. It was set up for vocal work, so I don't usually have to worry about the camera and my vocals at the same time. Anyways, it's been forever. Anyone who knows me well knows that I am terribly, terribly inconsistent with social media. So maybe I'll make videos consistently for a while again. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Only time will tell. But yeah, this past year has been crazy, full of many changes, and I won't bore you with too many details, but just, update on what's happened. Gosh, since the last time I was like posting consistently on TikTok and YouTube last year, probably summertime before my busy season started for vocals. Um, I, as I always do during fall time, which is my busiest time for music stuff, between cheerleading season, doing music for cheerleading teams, dedication music season for holidays, obviously. It's the busiest time of year. I always get overwhelmed and my voice gets really tired. So naturally I slow down during that time on anything else, but I started to get really burnt out and my voice was really suffering. Combination of things, a lot of health challenges, namely silent reflux that I realized I've had. I knew I had reflux a couple years ago, and it first came on in my early 20s when I was singing all the time. I was singing every single day. I was in a girl band. We were practicing all the time in the studio. I started having it, and I had a pretty healthy diet, like a very healthy diet actually. Was exercising, sleeping 8 hours, drinking water. So I wasn't the typical candidate for reflux. But what I realized is that a lot of singers and vocalists that do a lot of powerful vocal work, maybe you yell a lot, maybe you project a lot, we tend to get reflux more than other people. So, uh, yeah, I've suffered with it on and off for the last couple of years, but it had gone away for a while. And then as I've gotten busier and been singing more, it's been like chronic for the last 2 years to the point where, uh, there hasn't been a day that I have woken up without phlegm in my throat, hoarseness, soreness, easily tired vocally, canker sores on my tongue because all the stuff that comes up. And I've tried all the things, right? But I am on a journey right now where I've cut out caffeine completely. I've cut out alcohol, no citrus, no chocolate. And I took a round of like the medication, the Prilosec for 14 days. And I've gotten some tips on something that might help on the plant-derived side from a friend of mine. So I'll keep y'all posted on if that works. But I have noticed improvement in my health by just removing those trigger foods. I did all that before, but I didn't keep it consistent. And I was also very stressed, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. The anxiety and the stress is always the base of all of my problems, and I'm sure most of yours. So the anxiety part was the part that needed real addressing. However, I needed to also do the medical and, science-based physical things to shift and change. Anyhow, that really burned me out. So I just completely removed myself from all this social media stuff, making videos, because I was exhausted. Absolutely exhausted, physically, mentally, emotionally, all that. And, last year, over the last few years, actually, I've had kind of a turning point where I've been doing soul searching. I started singing and songwriting when I was a teenager. I'm 32 now, so it's been a long time. And I had the dream of basically being Beyonce. That was my goal. I'm going to be a rich and famous artist, and that was all I cared about, aside from my family, all I wanted in life. Moved to LA right after high school, pretty much. Pursued it, went hard, slept on couches and floors for years. Most of you know that story, so I won't go into it too much, but I did the things. I did all the things. I auditioned for all the shows. I made albums. I promoted myself. I really tried to push hard on social media as an independent artist. I did all the music videos and tried Spotify promotion, playlist, like everything that I was told you're supposed to do to achieve fame and fortune as an artist, I was doing. And over the last few years, I just slowly started to. First, I became very depressed for a while, which I don't really talk about a lot, but I went through quite a slump for a few years where I just felt like disappointed, obviously, fair enough, that things weren't going the way I wanted them to. I wasn't signed. I wasn't a famous artist. Could hardly get anybody to even push play on my music. Um, it's not that they hate it and think it's terrible. In fact, my songwriting has been going places for years. I've got so many songs placed on commercials, on network, like reality shows. So I know that my vocals and my writing people like. It's just the artist part that I couldn't get down. It's like, and I think I have a good personality. So I don't think people hate me, but it's just, there's just always been a disconnect for me with being that artist and trying to, when I say artist, I don't mean it in the traditional sense of being artistic. You know what I mean? Being that rich and famous, like, not even the rich part, because I'm still all about making that money, and that part is actually the easy part. But the being what now is called an influencer, trying to gain a fan base, that always felt off to me. I could never figure it out. It was unnatural. I tried my hardest, but it just didn't feel good in my soul. I know that sounds really cheesy, but I'm just being real. I realize now, looking back, that I never felt good about trying to build a fan base. So my big dream, all I wanted in life was to be a rich and famous artist. I've realized over the last few years, that's not what I want at all. And maybe, I know not everyone's spiritual, so you just ignore this part if you aren't, but they say rejection is God's protection. And for me, that was true because I realized I would hate everything about that lifestyle, other than the money. I like the money. And other than getting to do what you love for a living, everything else that comes with that whole thing, the lack of privacy, the lack of being home, the lack of balance, having to be on tour for 6 months, hustling your butt off, just grinding physically into exhaustion, not having, if you're signed to a label, not having any control really over your own creativity, being told what you can and can't put out, being locked into contracts. None of that feels good to me. And it's great for other people, right? But all of that, I'm like, how did I not realize? I think I was just blinded by the excitement of it all, and I needed validation back then. I wanted to be acknowledged for my talent and appreciated, and not loved in the sense of how your family loves you, because I have plenty of love and care from my family and friends, but just that validation that fame gets you. I thought I wanted that because at that time that was like a hole that I needed to fill. But as I became more and more grounded in who I am and did soul searching, I realized, like, oh, yeah, I don't want that anymore. I just want to, I do want the acknowledgement. I'm not going to lie about that. I want to win awards. I want to be appreciated by my peers. Not famous, just like acknowledged for the work that I do. And I want to be compensated for it. I want the money part. I like that. So just that, and then doing what I love every day and having freedom. Having freedom of schedule, not having contracts that I'm like tied to where I can't make this music or I can't go work with this person. Freedom, financial gain, doing projects that I love. That's the part I'm working on now, is as I continue to grow, getting to the point where I can say, I don't want to do these projects anymore. Was just for the money at the time, and it was fun, but I want to go after just these big, mega amazing, exciting projects. That's my goal now, is just to live a life of creativity and fun and get paid well for it. Okay. The problem with having that realization is that there's also a depression that follows that, of, I don't know who I am anymore without thinking of myself as trying to achieve this big goal. It sounds so cheesy, but it's true. You kind of like lose who you think you are, everything you've been chasing. It feels like not a complete waste of time. I've learned so much. I've had amazing experiences, but it's just a big life change. And it's like a who am I moment. So I went through a lot of that emotional turmoil over the last few years, and especially last year, being exhausted, experiencing health problems, and figuring out, what's next for me. Well, I'm not going to get like religious and spiritual, but I did take a lot of time last year to soul search, and I was praying a lot for what will give me fulfillment, because if I'm not going after, I'm still going to put out music. I'm still working on my albums. It's not that I'm quitting making my own music. It's just, if I'm not doing it the way that I initially planned, like what is it that is going to make me feel most fulfilled and happy? I'm just kind of lost. I don't know where to go from here with my music stuff, with songwriting. I don't know what I want anymore with it. So I don't like being in the dark. I don't like the unknown. I don't know about you. If you have anxiety, then the unknown is the absolute worst. But I did soul searching. I was asking, I was looking for signs, I was waiting. And out of nowhere, when I was looking for something completely different online, an ad pops up, or a Google thing pops up on the side for the Voice Actor Studio. The Voice Actor Studio? What is this? I've never thought about voice acting. I've always wanted to do acting, but because I chose music, I didn't feel like I had the time or the energy to be able to really do much in pursuing acting. I took some classes and I found it so fun and thrilling, and I always wanted to do it, but I just figured it'd be something I could maybe try to do when I'm a little older and had time. Unless you do Broadway, it's kind of hard to pursue music and acting at once, so I went all in on music, obviously. But I never thought about voice acting. The fact that my happy place is here in the studio, creating, being at home, or, not being out on the road all the time. No thank you. I love to travel, but rarely. One big trip every couple of years is like great for me, or going to Disneyland once a year. Like that's good enough for me. I'm not trying to be away from home that much. So anyways, the ad pops up. I go on the website and I'm like, it was like the heavens were like, oh, and I just felt like I need to go check this out. Went to a couple classes, fell in love, had never thought about voice acting before, but it just totally made sense. I'm like, I've always wanted to act. I enjoy acting. I'm a vocalist. I am a full-time in-studio vocalist who does everything from home. Oh my gosh, this is the perfect addition to what I already do. So I set the goal with them. They are amazing, amazing coaches and teachers there that do everything from giving you the acting coaching for character work, commercials, audiobooks, whatever it is you want to do, to also teaching you the business, creating demos from scratch for you in whatever category you want, ongoing support and training on, how to not only improve your skills, but improve your auditioning, get more clients, hook up with producers and production companies. Like, they're amazing. So shout out to them. I completely fell in love with voice acting and acting in general. And they said, typically between 6 months and 12 months is about a standard time for people that come in with us to be demo ready. So with voice acting, you train up, you get a demo, and then when you have that demo, you're ready to go out and network with production companies, and then most importantly, audition. People put up auditions on casting sites, and you just want to go, 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 go. You need a good demo for that. You need to know how to break down a script and how to obviously perform and act. So I took 6 months. That was my goal. From last May or June, I wanted to be ready by the holidays to cut a demo. And I did it. So I'll play the demo in between this video if you want to hear it real quick, or if you've already heard it, you could just skip through it.
Solve a crime on your morning walk. Get smarter while driving. Brave an imaginary world while folding your socks. Anything is possible with Audible. Whoa, wait up. You're saying I can easily save up for a sexy new car, fancy vacay, or my dream home with Ally Bank savings buckets? Ally, you did it again. Make time for more wonder, laughter, and adventure. Delta, keep climbing. It's true, even a hot barista can make a coffee. Say hello to Nespresso. I think I'm in love. For all that you are, Kaiser Permanente.
Mama, want to see my new magic trick? Uh-oh.
Mama's not worried because she's a magician too. With Clorox, stains just disappear. So, looking for a costume, my sweet little darling? You want something daring, unexpected, maybe a little scary? Well, I have just the place. Spirit Halloween. That's the spirit. I'll be waiting for you. Our lips speak volumes. With 100% natural shea butter and peppermint oil, beautiful lips always have something to say. Burt's Bees, naturally you. Well, Toyota makes electric as easy as ABC. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Simple as do, re, mi, baby, you and me, girl. Oh, sorry. I just love my Toyota.
But yeah, my commercial demo, they recommend you start with commercial work first to get income flowing. And commercial work is fun. I enjoy it. It pays very well. They are plentiful. Everyone needs commercials all the time, all over the world, versus character work is much more nuanced. It's much more specific. You're going to find that through the agencies. The big stuff, being in video games, being in like big video games, not just like indie projects, being in anime or any other animation stuff that's on TV. The big stuff is going to come through agencies. It's very rare that you're going to find something that's more than just like a local person who is making like a cute animated video or an online little mobile game or something. That stuff will come through casting sites, but it's pretty rare. So the thing is, you start with your commercial, you start getting some income in, you build some relationships, and then you get a character demo. If you're somebody who's like, I only want to do character, which I thought I was that person, still my end goal to do anime and video games. That's my biggest dream. But I also would like to make a lot of money right now so I could save up for that character demo and have that basis so that when I'm auditioning for and reaching out for character work, I don't feel that pressure of I have to get booked right now to survive. You know, I have my music stuff obviously still, but I want it to be purely for the joy. And yes, I'm going to get paid well once I get those big gigs, but the commercial work is more fun, but a means to an end right now until I can, get enough of those big anime video game gigs. And even people on that level, most of them are still doing a lot of commercial work in between when seasons are slow. So, yeah, commercial work is a blast. Anyhow, got my demo in, was it January? Yeah, top of January, I got my demo. No, middle of January. Anyways, I've had it for 3 weeks now, almost 4. And I started on voices.com, which is a casting site. My first week was a total wash because I didn't understand the algorithm and how to set up my profile to be successful and get matched with good auditions. So I was getting really crappy matched auditions. So I did a whole bunch of auditions my first week and a half, and hardly any of them got listened to. So they didn't even get played. So of course it wasn't a matter of like, they just didn't like my voice. They didn't even listen to it because there were so many ahead of me, because I won't go into the details of how voices.com sets up their algorithm. Unless you want me to in another video, let me know if you're a voice actor. But they match you based on keyword optimization. So if you're a 60% match for it, which is pretty low, they're going to listen to in order, because this is how the site is going to send it to them. 100% matches, 90, then 80, then 70, then 60. So if you've got 100 people that have auditioned, let's say, you're like in the bottom, like near 100 if you're 60 to 50% voice match. So anyhow, the second week I started fixing the algorithm and it got better. And I booked my first 2 jobs in my second week, end of my first week. They were, ironically, character gigs. I'm going to do all commercial right now while I build my character stuff. And the first gigs that I get were character. The first one, I can't show you any previews of because it's an actual script for a mobile game called Legendary Tales Stories. And it's just one of those cute little mobile games that you play. It's like an elf character. So when it comes out, I'll share it. I can't share that now, but I will show you behind the scenes of my second gig, which is just doing reaction sounds for an animated project. So I'm literally doing oof, like the cute little reaction sounds, and I got paid to do that. It was so fun. I'll show you a clip of that. It's funny to watch. And yeah, I haven't got my first commercial gig yet, but I'm trying to do as many auditions as I can a day. When the work is really flowing in, I will do 20 auditions in a day. The last couple of days have been really slow. I've done like 5 or 6 a day. It is what it is. So in that other time, I am reaching out to every production company I could possibly find in all the major cities and just trying to connect with them, send them my demo, kind of like the old school thing you do with music, right? Let me send you my CD, and it's a numbers game, so a lot of them won't even see it. It'll go to spam, but you know how it goes. You just keep pushing, keep going, trying to network and make connections. But the difference is I feel really excited about this rather than trying to make something happen out of a music career that I don't have clarity on. And I'm not sure where I want to go with it or what I want out of it. I just feel confusion around that. So I finally accepted that it's time for me to just keep making music, keep doing what I'm doing with music. I'm not like quitting, but because I don't know what I want anymore or where I want to go with it, I'm just stepping back a little and focusing all in on the voice acting because it's so much fun. I'm having a blast, you guys. So if you are wanting to get into voice acting, you already are a voice actor, get with a good studio, like the Voice Actor Studio or wherever you want to go. Most of their classes are also virtual now. So actually, almost all of them you can do virtually. There's plenty of other studios if you find a different one that suits you better, but get the training until you feel you're ready, until the coaches feel you're ready. Then cut a demo, learn about the business. I had the distinct advantage of building up a music business, learning through trial and error, and failing horribly for my first couple of years, getting business and then not being able to maintain enough business or understand how to grow it. So then going broke again, saving up, going broke, saving up, going broke, right? Going full time into music and then having to go back and get a 9 to 5 again, like a cycle. But I got some business coaching. I found a business coach who taught me how to grow and scale a business like mine, right? It's not a corporation. So a lot of the rules are similar but different. You need somebody who's going to help teach you how to grow a freelance business and a solopreneur business. So I got business coaching, and that helped me learn how to grow my music business. So it's really not much different with voice acting other than the small details of how you get clients auditioning versus just networking. But yeah, it's been really fun so far. I'll keep you guys updated with what next gigs come up for me when I'm ready to get my character demo, which will be my next step. I just gotta save up for it because it's a pretty penny. But yeah, man, I'm loving doing it. It's so fun. That's pretty much the update. I hope to be making more videos now, but I wanted to make this also because I realized I used to talk about a lot of mental health stuff, and I don't know why I stopped. I felt like maybe it was like weird, like people thought it was weird, and I cared about what people were thinking. and that it wasn't, I'm not focusing enough on my music stuff. I'm just talking about mental health. But people seem to really appreciate it, and it seemed to connect with people. So let's talk about it for a second. Um, what I like to call bypassing, you've probably heard of spiritual bypassing anxiety and depression. Quick backstory. I started having panic attacks and anxiety when I was in high school for the first time. I just was like failing half my classes. That's probably why. There was a lot of financial stress going on in the family. Like we had a lot of stuff as a family going on that was really, really tough. And so all of that together just weighed on me. And I started having panic attacks in the middle of school, in the middle of cheerleading practice. And it continued through a couple years into my 20s until I really I went full in on the self-help. Man, I read every self-help book about, power of the mind, all the Joe Dispenza, Eckhart Tolle, um, just every single book I could possibly read on mind and how to craft your mindset and I don't want to say mind control. I don't really know what the right words are here, but just really how to use your mind to help control what's going on in your body. It helped so much. Obviously, I created a victor mindset instead of a victim mindset, which changed my life in so many ways. I took accountability for my emotions and my reactions rather than blaming my stress or anxiety or sadness on other people, while still respecting that, you got to let people know when they're disrespecting you that they can't do that. You still got to have your boundaries. But all of that, plus getting into meditation, consistent exercise, getting sunlight, walking outside every day, like all of those things together with mantras and mindset really took away my panic attacks. I stopped having panic attacks probably by my mid-20s. So after like a couple of years, I completely eliminated them. And I mean, I was hospitalized once for one because I didn't know what was going on. I felt perfectly calm and fine driving home. I think it might have been a blood sugar issue. I didn't eat enough that day. But anyhow, I started feeling it coming on while I was driving on the 405 in LA. Great spot to have a panic attack. And my breathing was going, hyperventilating, and my hands locked up like a little T-Rex, right? And I couldn't move my hands and it hurt. My fingers were locked together. And then I started to feel like my tongue felt heavy and numb. And I was like, TMI, but I was like drooling. I was like feeling like I was going to throw up. So I pulled over somehow on the 405 to the shoulder and I used like my elbow to dial 911. I called the emergency and they came in the ambulance and they picked me up and they knew it was a panic attack, but telling me it's a panic attack is not going to help my panic attack because I'm like, no, I'm having a stroke or something. I'm dying. They took me to the hospital. Obviously, I calmed down after a while. The hyperventilation, by the way, is what causes your limbs to lock up. Very scary, very painful, but that experience helped me know that that's the worst that was actually going to happen. And with the right steps and tools and talking to myself mentally, like if a parent was talking to a child, I can calm myself enough to prevent that. Some people need medication or other interventions in order to get themselves level. So this is not like I cured mine with power of the mind. Not at all. We're all at different places in life. So do what you got to do. Anyway, what happened for me was after that, when I started to get into this, I believe I can heal everything in my life and create everything in my life from the mind alone. Beautiful thing, metaphysics, not going to get into it, but it changed my life for the better. The issue is I became so obsessed with that mindset that I didn't allow myself over the last few years to feel emotions, actually let them be, which is part of what they tell you should do. But for whatever reason, I ignored that part. It's almost like I became so arrogant with myself, not with other people, but with myself in that I can control everything with my mind. And so if I'm sick, no, I'm not really sick. I can cure this. I don't need medication. Like it became like a toxic positivity soup for me over the last few years where I would hate myself if I got sick or chronic health stuff was happening because I shouldn't be experiencing this. I have a positive mindset. I'm in control. And so then I would feel angry and guilt and shame, and it would just become this spiral. Um, and I realized over this past year with these chronic conditions like the reflux that has just not stopped for years, eczema, every time there's a remotely dry season, like the in between my fingers is like I'm like a dragon. I got like scales in between my fingers. Um, Dizziness, like weird dizzy spells and feeling super fatigued, canker sores, just all these weird things that have come and go, come and go. Go to the doctor, they say everything's great. You look perfectly healthy. Don't see any problems here. Here's an eczema cream. Not their fault. There's nothing for them to treat. Try to eat better. Try to sleep more. Um, I have tried so many different things to address my health. I've tried so many diets. I'm so sensitive to all these foods and medications and blah, blah, blah. It's like there's always something wrong with me. And it's never made sense because I'm very healthy. I eat a balanced diet. I work out 5 days a week, sometimes 6. I sleep 8 hours a night. Sorry if you're jealous, but I sleep 8 hours every night. I know not everyone has that privilege. I drink lots of water. I eat, food from the farmer's market, like as local and organic as I can get. I try to live a non-toxic lifestyle. I try to de-stress, but what I've come to realize is that I have been denying my anxiety and depression for the last few years because I have this toxic sense of I am in control, everything's perfect. It's not a bad thing to affirm those things. Like, life is perfect. I do want to see my life as everything's happening for a reason. That's great. But when you deny and push away negative things and feelings, you set yourself up for disaster because what happens when you suppress? We all know. We all know, especially if you've gone to therapy, like if you suppress emotions, they're going to come out someday. I don't care how strong and stoic you are. If you do not express them or at least let them go through you and feel them, they will come out. And for me, it comes out in my body. It comes out, all the conditions I have are all stress-based. They're not because I'm diabetic or I have a bad immune system. There's nothing wrong with my body, as doctors have told me. There's nothing wrong with my diet. I've tried every diet, every supplement, all of the miracle cures, all that crap. It is, plain and simple for me, stress-based. But when you're in denial, you don't want to hear that, right? So I have realized that I have been denying, first of all, the period of not knowing what I wanted to do anymore in my life. That was depression. I was feeling really sad, but I was suppressing it and just going through each day and just trying to do and do and do and create things, keep myself busy to suppress the depression. And I never let myself feel it or express it. And I just end up going from depression to anxiety because being busy and anxious feels better than being sad and depressed. It's like a higher vibrational feeling. So I've always kept myself stressed and busy in order to deny and ignore and push away my anxiety. So I've been doing therapy for a couple months now with a counselor. It's very she's definitely like a woo-woo counselor because that's my style. So aside from talk therapy, we also do a lot of spiritual stuff. That's my style. That's for me. May not be for most people, but what's helped me was just talking everything out with her and realizing that, man, every time I've had all these health problems or I feel too exhausted to do videos has been when there were a lot of things that were maybe small stressors, but a lot at once in my life. A lot of things that I'm trying to figure out, a lot of just small, annoying things happening, setbacks, small things, but that I didn't address. I didn't let myself feel. I just said, everything's working out for me. Everything's working out for me. Everything's perfect. Life is so good. They started to build up, and every time they build up and boil over during a more stressful period, usually during the holidays is one for me. I'm busy. Work is at its peak, which is great because money is coming in. I'm like, yeah. But then it's the holidays. I've got to travel to California and back, find someone to watch the cats. I definitely eat like crap, so I'm stressing my body out, and all the travel and just exhaustion, I always get sick right after that, right? So I've realized that the anxiety and like the stress has been the base of everything, and I've just been pushing it down and saying it doesn't exist just because I've overcome panic attacks. Good for me. But it doesn't mean that I don't still have to focus on regulating my nervous system consistently. I've done meditation for years, but it hasn't really kept my anxiety at bay. I think it's helped me not have panic attacks, like I said, because I have that tool of being able to tap into that calming. But on a daily basis, moment by moment, I'm not practicing any mindfulness that helps me specifically calm my nervous system when, oh God, this is another problem. I got to deal with this. Now we've got to go to the DMV and do this. And now appointment got canceled. Now I can't get a doctor's appointment for 3 months. And the financial mistake happened, which is my biggest trigger. And so now, I've got to start over. Or I've got to like take money all out of my savings and pay for the $12,000 tax bill I had last year, which was unexpected. Those things that might feel little, I've not allowed myself to really sit and just feel my emotions. And realizing that, I hope that other people out there feel like, hey, man, there's a good balance between wanting to focus on what you do want, right? Which is my whole philosophy. Don't talk too much about what you don't want. I think when we identify, which is what I used to do when I was younger in high school, when I first started having the panic attacks. I have anxiety. I'm stressed out. I have all these disorders. When you're so identified with it and focused on it and you're like a victim, that's very, very negative for your body, for your mind. But when you go the other extreme, which is what I did, and say like, no more victimhood. I am the victor. I control everything. You can swing too far to the other side, like me, and completely suppress and ignore how you're feeling because you just need to be the perfect boss. You just need to be amazing at everything. I've gotten to the point where I realize that if I'm not good at something right away, I'm angry or I'm frustrated and I'm like pissed off. It's like ridiculous. Whereas I used to just be like a kid, like, oh, well, I suck at basketball. It's fine. I'm good at gymnastics. So hey, whatever. Now, if I'm not instantly good at something, I'm upset. This weird perfectionism thing that as a creative, free spirit kid is like, where did this come from? But it's that obsessive need to control and suppress that, has gotten me here. And I think if you can relate, there's a good balance to find between obsessively thinking about all your problems and dwelling and going to the other extreme. So definitely if you're feeling anxiety or stress, do what you need to do to relieve that, but also have a positive outlook at the same time of, um, things can always be better. We can always improve and move forward. Every day is a new day. If I'm really nervous and anxious to go into an audition or perform, that's totally okay. And we can work on that. Like, have a positive attitude. I'm a firm believer still that optimism is the way to happiness. And like, you're not always going to be happy every moment. You're going to wake up some days even doing what you love and being like, ugh, I'm tired. I kind of don't want to get in the studio today. I just want to chill. That's fine. It's totally normal. But yeah, it's all about balance. And I hope some people maybe resonated with some of this. I can't wait to share more of the voice acting stuff with you and whatever happens next with music. So I don't know how often I'll be on socials because I'm really grinding right now. I'm focusing on building up the new business. But please connect with me and tell me what you want to see in the next video. We'll try to do one once a month. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Love you. Bye.
More red than the finest diamond is an instant knowing that you have found the one, the deepest love that keeps on growing. Met at the cotton warehouse, we were healing from life gone wrong. Mended each other's.
Not feeling it, not feeling it. That was poupée, I must say.
Run it again. 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 More rare than the finest diamond is an instant knowing that you have found the one, the deepest love that keeps on growing. Mad at the is an instant knowing that you have found the one, have found the one. More rare than the finest diamond is an instant knowing that you have found the one, the deepest love that keeps on growing. Met at the cotton warehouse, we were healing from love gone wrong. Mends at each other's hearts, then things really moves along. Made so many memories, Suspicion. Look, DCF 2018, that's where this love story begins. We clicked from the jump, became good friends. A flame was lit, but I had loose ends. A toxic situation, I was fighting to leave, and you were always there for me. Though we didn't get together, I felt your spirit, and I knew that if it's meant to be. Though we didn't get together, I felt your spirit and know that if it's meant to be, and our bond will continue to grow from a flame to a wildfire. Just having you in my life satisfies my main desire. You truly have a heart of gold, so much love and care for the ones you hold dear. Can't imagine a world without you, no matter how long it. Can't imagine a world without you. Can't imagine a world without you, no matter how long it takes. I'll be here. If our journey doesn't lead to love, then I am grateful to be your friend. We're alike in so many ways. I got your back to the very end. Let's go.
Blame it on your ex, blame it on the media, blame it on the drugs and what they feed ya. Anything to get you off the hook now, baby. Just don't blame it on me. Ain't it convenient? It's never you. You always seem to know just what to do to turn it around and put it all on me.